How's your week been going?
It's good. What's today? Wednesday.
I know.
It's good. Busy. Same old, same old. It was Christmas for the guys today. Got some gear in, so that was good.
There you go.
Always a fun time to get some new gear. But man, I mean, real practice is approaching, so we're coming up on it quick. Real
Yeah, because you guys start October 1st, or is it earlier? Is it September?
Well, it's so that we were just talking about it today. I think it's like 42 days from the date of your first, real game. So whatever that day is. So I think the first day is supposed to be this coming Tuesday.
Wow. I mean, that's right around the corner. I mean, what is that? Is that the 27th?
27th. 28th. Yeah, 28th or something like that.
Yes, one of them. But good.
Yeah.
Good. You excited?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I can't wait to get this thing rolling. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I cannot wait to get it rolling. It's going to be fun. I think the guys are locked in. They're ready to get things rolling. So it'll be fun, man. I can't wait. What about y'all?
Oh, man. So we're actually redoing our locker room right now.
Oh, upgrades.
Yes, upgrades. And it's – dude, we got some cool lights. Like, our locker room's going to look pretty cool. So
we're going with like a dark theme, like kind of with some spotlights up in there. What are we going with? I'll tell you what, just save it. And
I'm just going to have to save it. I'm going to have to save it. And, you're going to have to check out the social media page. Follow Lee Men's Basketball,
When's that going to be done?
Hopefully within the next couple weeks. So that's exciting. I think it's going to look good.
Good. Were you helping design any of that?
Yeah, me and Bubba and Ryan have done a lot of it. So
okay.
Just design wise, I mean, we've given some ideas, but I mean, they're going to run with it, So, but yeah, dude, I'm really excited about it because these lights are cool. They are cool. There's some lights I like never seen. Like, you'll have to just check it out. But okay, so one thing before we get into anything, I'm not going to even try to catch you off guard this week before we introduce it, but
thank you.
Coach Sean Rutiliano stopped by this week.
At Lee?
Yes, stopped by today, and he was just walking through the hallway, and I was like, what are you doing here?
He didn't get the head up?
No.
Of course he didn't.
And he was like, oh, hey, I was looking for – and, just like started like joking around.
Yeah.
Like, we ended up talking for like
he just walked into a random school and you just happened to be there or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he knew,
right.
He was looking for me, but still at the same time, it's hysterical. Like, I had no idea he was about to pop up.
You said that, and that was today, or when was that?
That was today.
Oh, Wednesday. My gosh. Yeah. Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's good. He's just recruiting, so just getting around. But, yeah, this was like a little stopping point, so.
Good.
It was funny, though. I was the last person I was expecting to see was him.
I love that. I just show him. I love that he didn't say anything before. Give you a heads up.
Yeah, no, but it would have stunk if I wasn't there. But that's something I would have done. I would have like not said anything, and then like afterwards, I've been like, "Oh, where were you?"
Yeah, true. I'd probably done something like that too.
Yeah, but anyway, Asa, episode 50. Oh, excuse me. Welcome into the Mind of a Coach podcast. After our little banter, this is episode. I got to go for it. It's not. I don't want him to come on a rant at me, but it's not Kwame Brown because we got James Poindexter. I just ruined it, but we got James Poindexter coming on, who's about to be phenomenal and Lipscomb legend is how I like to call it. But Kwame Brown, right? I mean, what other 54 are you going with?
Wait, why did you say James why did you bring? Okay, all right, yes, Kwame Brown.
I brought it in too early.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. I was gonna say. So listen to this. Cole Harrison, dude. He was 54 at Brentwood.
He was 54 at BGA as well.
Was he? Okay, I couldn't. I was pretty sure he was 54 at Brentwood, but I couldn't remember if he was at BGA or not as well. So that was the dude. My brain is not. You've been carrying us the way. You've been carrying us over these past.
Kwame Brown. How about that one? I don't even like. Do we need to brainstorm another 54?
Dude,
I don't know if I can.
I'm having trouble racking my mind with these numbers right now.
What was Daryl Dawkins? Was he 50?
I think he was. He might have been 50. He might have been 53.
Yeah, I think he was 53.
Yeah, he might have been 53.
But anyway, yeah. Kwame Brown. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Asa. I've been waiting on that. I've been waiting to say the Kwame Brown episode ever since he's just been going crazy on social media.
Dude, he's keeping it real, man. He's awesome. He's awesome.
You know, the funny thing is, you go back and look at his stats. He wasn't a terrible player.
Yeah.
He wasn't a great player, but he played in the NBA, dude.
Right. Yeah. If you make it that far, you're not completely sorry. But people love to run with the bus joke. So you know, I don't know. But he's doing his thing now. I mean, it seems like he's content with his career and his life right now. So good for him.
Does he have a podcast? Because if he did, I'm sure he'd have 1 million listeners.
Yeah, I'm sure he would too. Maybe we can get Kwame on the podcast sometime.
Rated R. But anyway, Asa, what do you got to get off your chest this week?
Man, well, a couple things. First of all, I just walked outside a few minutes ago. A nice, cool breeze hit me in the face, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's officially hoodie season. So it's hoodie season, and I don't have one on right now. Go get your hoodies. Wear the heck out of them.
Go get your Mind of a Coach hoodies, right?
Go get your Mind of a Coach hoodies. Get your respect. Yeah, whatever. Get you on a hoodie. Wear it around. And also, dude, I mean, how awesome was the Titans on Sunday? How awesome were the Titans pulling that out?
For 3 quarters, they looked like the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee football Titans, quoted by Asa Duvall. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they looked like. And oh my goodness, someone, I'm not going to say who it was because they might listen to this podcast, but they were like, yeah, this is when like running backs like fall off. I was like, but this was before the game. And I said, guys, Derrick Henry is not falling off.
That's bold.
I'm telling you that right now. I took it. I said, Derrick Henry is not falling off. I don't know if you've seen that, man. Still a beast. That being said, the offensive line just had to play better. You can't have a good running back with a bad offensive line. It's just not possible. It's not possible.
And obviously the lifespan of a running back in the NFL is tricky. But I'm always on the side of, well, he's due for kind of a comeback to reality here. But also at the same time, the dude falls and gets 4 yards. So it's
I was about to say, has anybody looked at this man?
Yeah, I mean the guy still falls.
Every other running back isn't 6'2".
He's 6'4". He's about 6'3".
6'3", 250, 240, 250. All other running backs are like 5'9",
A tank.
And those are some strong dudes, but yes.
That was a sweet victory. That was a sweet, about as sweet as the sports drink I got right here.
Wow. Sponsored by Mind of a Coach. So, the crazy thing is I was, however, I'll doubt myself I'll slap myself on the hand for a second because I did say that about Derrick Henry. So, pat myself on the back. Now I got to slap myself on the hand. I said I don't know how good Julio Jones is going to be after week 1. He had like 3 drops, and I was like, man, I don't know. And then he was phenomenal. I mean,
there's a reason that guy.
And then A.J. Brown didn't even play great. Can you imagine now when all 3 of them are clicking?
Oh my gosh, dude! Julio Jones that man's talent is different.
And then we have the best coach in the country. I mean,
they threw out some stats about Julio that I didn't even. I guess I'm not even going to try to remember the stats, but just some crazy historical facts of where he falls in history in the NFL already. It's unbelievable. That dude is amazing. So I don't know. Hopefully he can keep it up, man. But we'll see. 1-1. Long way to go.
Yeah. I mean, it just stinks for the NFL that we found it out so early. So, good luck, NFL, but the Titans are rolling now. The Titans are rolling.
Right, Super Bowl now, dude.
I hope so. I don't even want to talk about it. Even if it took a Tennessee Miracle or Music City Miracle, I would do whatever it takes to get the Titans back to a Super Bowl. Although I don't know if we made the Super Bowl that year.
What? Oh, that year. I don't know.
We won the wild card game.
Yeah, I don't think that was not the Super Bowl year. I don't believe. Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, Asa, I already ruined it for a lot of the guests, but James Poindexter, let's go ahead and talk to him because I am so glad. Don't get me wrong. I love all Nashville schools, all Tennessee schools. We support everybody, Asa. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But it is nice to have a Lipscomb legend in the flesh. Well, kind of. I mean, you'll get to see him, but in the flesh-ish on our podcast. It's about time.
It is, man. It is. And it is. So, I don't know, man. Let's do it. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today we have Coach James Poindexter on the show. He is from Birmingham, Alabama. He went to John Carroll Catholic High School, went on to play at college basketball at Lipscomb University. After Lipscomb, he was an assistant at Harpeth High School for 2 years before moving back down to Alabama and becoming the head coach at McAdory High School since 2008-2009 season. Coach Poindexter, appreciate you coming on today, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. This weather's starting to change, man. So I'm just trying to stay cool now, man. I was trying to stay warm at first, man. This morning, but hell, this weather just going up and down, man. Up and down. So I was trying to hang in there, man.
I was just talking to Nate. I was telling him how I walked outside and it was officially hoodie season.
Exactly. So it's going well down here, man. How's things up y'all way?
Nate?
Man, everything's good. Everything's good. Just getting ready for basketball.
Yeah. Everything's good this way, Coach. Everything's good this way, Coach. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We got 3 Lipscomb dudes on the podcast today. At least 3.
I say, how many times that happened?
3 former Lipscomb players on the podcast. I don't think that's happened much. Nate and I were obviously 2014, me 18, Nate to 19. You were 2002 to 2006, correct?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
exactly. Yeah.
What was your experience like at Lipscomb? What was it like back then? How was it for you? How was basketball? How was it off the court? How was it on the court? Just give us the lowdown.
Well, man, truth be told, when I got there in 2002, Nashville was not how it is now. The city was kind of on the brink of, expanding as far as, more people coming in, more eclectic people coming in or whatnot, so Riley Parkway was just probably like a 4-lane road at the time. It wasn't too big, didn't have very much going on downtown really, but each year I think, from a city standpoint, it started to progress and it started to get better, get bigger. And, more people started, kind of migrating their way to Nashville. Now, from a basketball standpoint, it was, my first 2 years were tough. We were still NCAA independent. Mm-hmm. We were making that transition from NAIA to Division I. So, we really played a hodgepodge schedule, from a standpoint of, even though we were kind of affiliated with the ASUN conference those 2 years and we would play teams within that conference, we weren't playing for a conference championship. We weren't playing for seeding or anything like that. So, to kind of get our money up, from a athletic budget standpoint, we were having to play, certain teams for those guaranteed games, and we were getting our heads beat in because we still had NAIA talent, but mixed with a little Division I talent, and it was a tough transition, but our coaching staff, Coach Sean, Coach Jay, those guys did a hell of a job getting on the recruiting trail, trying to get players in, guys that fit our system, guys that kind of fit what we were trying to do. So, my last 2 years were a little bit better. We ended up making the conference tournament. My junior year, lost a tough one to Jacksonville. In the first round of the tournament, and then my senior year, we did fairly well. Ended up winning the conference regular season, lost to some BS to Belmont in overtime in the conference championship, and then we ended up playing in the NIT. So that was the first time in school history we were able to, participate in postseason plays. We should have been in NCAA, but we can take NIT berth, man.
For sure. Hey, quick question. How was it like playing in New Allen Arena? We just know 20-year-old Allen Arena.
So I think
was it pitch black in there at that point?
I was about to say the lights were only from the side.
Hell yeah, man. The lighting was terrible. So now, there's no reasons to why anybody should miss a damn shot in that gym. Because, the lighting is phenomenal now. But, it was like theater lighting when I was there. We had, the court was different, and just the ambiance. The crazy part about it, when we would play teams like Belmont, ETSU, Tennessee State, rivalry games where it would kind of, pack it out or whatnot. It was weird because you could only see probably 10, 12 rows up. And then everything else, was just dark as all get out. But, you could hear everything. But, it was just so it was just so dark, man. It was I didn't really like that, but it is what it is.
All right. So you mentioned something earlier about how your first 2 years were kind of rough. And obviously, the goal when you get to college, especially playing Division I, you want to make a conference tournament, conference championship, play for a chance at the NCAA tournament. Obviously, you said your first 2 years you couldn't do that. What's your mentality like as a player, not really having that at the end of the road to look forward to? How do you approach practice? How do you approach games throughout the season when you don't have that opportunity at the end?
All right, so crazy deal. So I don't know if this was just a good recruiting stance or whatever the case was, but I didn't know very much about the fact that we weren't going to be able to compete for a conference championship. Just from my understanding, and it's not blaming the coaching staff. I mean, they sold their university, they sold their program or whatnot, but I just didn't do my research. So, I didn't really know the ins and outs as far as, because we were making that transition that, we weren't affiliated with a conference. I was just under the impression that, teams like at the time it was, Centenary, Texas Corpus Christi, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. It was, several other schools that were going through the same transition as us. And those were some of the teams we were playing on top of teams that were affiliated with the A-Sun. So, I mean, that first year, you're just kind of going into it. You're excited to play Division I basketball. You're getting to play teams. I think we played Kansas State, probably Nebraska. Pepperdine, I think maybe we played. So, I mean, we were playing larger schools and, schools that had national recognition. So, I mean, that it was fun from that aspect because, that's something that you dream about growing up, but, when you get to a point and see, I had a bunch of buddies that were playing college basketball at different universities with me. So, they're talking about conference seeding and all this, and I'm just sitting there like, well, hell, our last game is February 28th, so shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do after that, because I mean, regardless of whether, yeah, exactly, regardless of whether you win every game or lose every game, that's gonna be your last game, So going into my sophomore year, me knowing that, we still weren't going to be able to compete for conference championship and postseason play. It was just a matter of trying to get better every day, and then just trying to prepare for, these next 2 years to try to make a run. You actually cherish every game a little bit more when you know that there's going to be an end at some point. When there's a definite end, you're going to cherish every game at some point. Now, with us, there were certain guys, that in our program at the time that just, I mean, they were juniors and seniors, and they had never had an opportunity to compete, for a conference championship. So it was tough getting those guys on board, but for some of the younger guys, that were freshmen and sophomores, we actually had something to look forward to. So from that aspect, it kind of got us over that hump.
That's actually interesting, Asa, because I guess it was our sophomore year. We played Stetson in the semifinal, and they were the last seed in the conference. They were ineligible as well. They had been transitioning, I guess, or something else had been going on. I'm not exactly sure.
I think that was some academic stuff.
But they weren't conference where they could play in the conference tournament, but if they won it, they couldn't go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And they were the last seed in the tournament, and we faced them in semifinals, and we had just swept. That was the only team we had swept all year. And we were like, oh, we're going to the conference championship, baby. And so, we play them, and they just drum us. And then they almost beat Florida Gulf Coast in the championship.
They did, yeah. And then they wouldn't have even been able to go, which would have been crazy.
I know. And North Florida would have went. How crazy would that have been? Florida Gulf Coast makes it to the championship. North Florida gets knocked out by Florida Gulf Coast, and North Florida would have went to the championship. But anyway, sorry. That was just a side note. But that's awesome. So Asa, do you have anything else
I was
about?
just gonna say, so Coach, I'm assuming like going into year 3, y'all were ready to hit the ground running. I'm assuming y'all could not wait to get things rolling that year, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. As I say, we added a bunch of just really good athletes. Eddie Ard, who's probably, I would say, him and Garrison Matthews kind of toe to toe as far as best Bison in the NCAA area that's ever played. He was kind of coming to his own. We had another guy, Brian Fisk. He was a year behind me, all conference. He was starting to develop his jump shot. He was always a really good defender, good scorer, but he was starting to develop a perimeter jump shot that was going to make him, extremely, deadly, from any part of the court. So, we added those pieces, got a couple of JUCO guys in. And as I say, man, once you get better players in, the competition is a little bit better in practice. You start to compete a lot better. The pickup games, in the weight room and conditioning and stuff like that. So just the culture was changing just because of the people, that we were surrounding ourselves with. So, year 3, as I say, you're right. We were ready to hit the ground running. And we were familiar with a lot of the guys within the conference, and we knew that we could compete with them. It was just a matter of us getting, certain pieces to the puzzle. And, we added a big man, JUCO big man, Sean Durant. Also added another shooter that played JUCO ball with him. So I mean, we got certain pieces to the puzzle, that kind of springboarded us and got us ready to compete, in the ASUN.
Coach, so I want to get to that championship game that we mentioned earlier, but I kind of talk about just talk about kind of the Belmont Lipscomb rivalry that it was back then, because obviously I think there was much more the rivalry ran a lot deeper back then, I think, than it does now, right? Like there was much more bad blood. There was more legit hatred back then towards each other than I think there is now. Just describe to us kind of what that was like in playing in those games back then during that time, because those games were crazy.
Yeah, they were. So my sophomore year was the first time we had played since both teams had made the Division I jump. So we went through a period where we weren't competing against each other. So that first time that we played, it was my sophomore year. We played them at Belmont. Steve Draven, who he was I think that year he led the nation in field goal and free throw percentage. He was a good, really good player. You know what I'm saying? But it was just so much tension had built up, leading up to that game. And that was one of the things that, as far as from a recruiting standpoint, the coaching staff, they ensured that we would be renewing that rivalry. So, that was actually something that I was looking forward to, because my high school coach went to Lipscomb for a couple of years. So, he actually let me know about the rivalry, and I did some research on it myself, so I was actually very excited to play in that game. So, I don't know how it is now, because, I haven't been able to actually go to a battle because of, it kind of coincides with right when I'm playing. They usually play it on a Tuesday or a Monday or a Tuesday, and that's typically when we play. So I can't get up there and actually watch the game. But as a player, man, the atmosphere was just phenomenal. We got the games were close. My sophomore year, we were outmatched, and I think we fed off of the crowd. So that's why the games were close. But they were a far more superior team than we were. And my junior year, we had, I think we're pretty much similar in from a talent standpoint, and we split in the regular season. We won by 2. It was it was the one that the game at Lipscomb. We won by 2. I hit Brian Collins with a nice little cross and, right hand layup, fish fillet. And we end up winning. But the crazy part about that game, I didn't really get off to a bad start. I just didn't. I wasn't really looking to score. And then it was more so, guys, Eddie, Brian, Sean for that matter, those guys were playing really well. So, I mean, there really wasn't a lot of opportunities for me to like really, really get shots off. So, I mean, I was just kind of being the distributor, trying to take care of the ball. So, we're down maybe like 7 or 8, and it's like couple minutes. So we're down like 7 or 8. It's a couple minutes left, and I scored like 9 straight. Hit a couple of threes, knocked down a couple of shots, and I think we're maybe down 1. And Belmont's got the ball. They call it timeout. And coach took my ass out, and I'm like, it's like, all right, whatever. So, I was kind of a hothead back then, so I'm sitting there and I'm fussing on the sidelines and fussing at Coach Sean. I'm like, man, what the hell? What's up? I'm finally letting it fly. Like, what's up? I'm telling you, we can win this. And he talks to Coach, I don't know why. He still can't explain why why he made the substitution, but subs right back in. We drew up like a ball screen play. And I rejected the ball screen, was able to knock it down. And that was our first win against Belmont. They stormed the court. It was a really good atmosphere then. So, and then obviously, playing my senior year, I never won a game at Belmont, we split both years, won both of the home games, and then, conference championship. That was one of the deals where, I think both programs were kind of on the rise, as far as making that full transition to Division I. And we were at a crossroads. Whoever wins that game, the outcome, was going to be in their favor for years to come. And we knew that going into it because, when you look at it, Belmont won that game in overtime. And, several of those players going to go overseas and play. They have really stellar careers. A bunch of those guys, end up, becoming college coaches. A couple of those guys end up becoming college coaches. And they start, Belmont starts getting, more money funded into their program. They're getting better recruits. They're getting national attention. They're getting better guarantee games, So, and then us on the other end, we kind of – it took us a while for us to kind of get to that level, where we're competing at a high level and we're getting really good recruits and, and then we're making the tournament on a consistent basis and we're competing for a conference championship year in and year out. So, as I say, that was a very pivotal game, for both programs, and, I can go into detail about the game if you want me to, but
let's do it. Let's go ahead. I'm ready. I'm glad to hear about some Lipscomb history, so let's do it.
I knew it, man. So I don't know. Did you guys ever play at ETSU?
No, that was literally right before. So they left the conference right before we got there.
Okay, so at ETSU, it used to be. I want to say it used to be a football stadium. It
was an indoor football stadium.
Is it the same gym they're in now, Asa?
No, they're in a different gym now, Nate.
Okay, because we played against them last year, but I didn't know.
So it was an indoor football stadium, man, and it was just so much negative space because the court was kind of. It's tough to explain, man. Like the fans were just so far away, you know what I'm saying? And then you're not really center court. You're kind of off to the side, and then it's people 30, 40 feet away from you, but now the area around the court was jam-packed. But it was, as I say, it was just so much negative space. So it was actually really tough to shoot in that gym. We start the game, and it's typical battle of the Boulevard. It's neck and neck. We're going back and forth. They'll get up 7. We'll come back. We'll get up 7. They'll come back. And crazy thing is, I didn't have a great shooting night. Nobody really had a good shooting night. It was just a grind. I think everybody was just so damn timid, because we knew how pivotal this game was. So, again, the game's tied. I would say maybe like 20 seconds left. They go into a zone like a 2-3, and I kind of float to the corner, and hell, ball gets swung, shot clock's going down. They swing it to me in the corner, and I knock down a corner 3. So we go up 3 with like maybe 10 or 11 seconds left. So crowd is going crazy. Everybody's celebrating. And the only thing I'm thinking in my head, like, shit, I'm about to be on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get some more girls when I get back to Nashville. Everything is going through my head. The game is not going through my head. So I'm zoned out, and I'm just thinking about, what I'm gonna say on something similar to like First Take or something, ESPN First Take. So I'm sitting there, and I'm care less about what's going on, because I knew we got it nipped in the bud, yada yada. And it dawns on me, coach is like, we need to, because we switched everything on the perimeter. So when he said switch everything, I'm like, hey, so I interject, and I'm like, coach, just let me stay on Justin Hare. He kind of looks at me, and he was like, no, we switching everything. But what do? They run a damn weave and get a mismatch, Justin Hare, he's at the top of the key. Eddie's guarding him. And Eddie, he's one of those guys we need him. So he's not really going to foul you because he don't want to sit down. He wants to play. So Justin Hare drives. He gets Eddie kind of off balance. Shot fake, leans into him, gets an and 1. He knocks down the free throw. We go into overtime. And I knew going into overtime we weren't going to win because we were just so damn tired. We were on a 6-man rotation, and we're playing in that gym, and the gym is real muggy, and most of us, myself, Eddie, Brian, Cam, we're logging in about 32, 33 minutes at this point. So, I knew I was tired. I could tell Brian really wasn't playing, how he normally plays, and it was because his ass was tired, so, it was just one of those deals where, and at that moment, I knew that coaching was something that I wanted to do because, I knew for a fact then that, I wanted to be in a situation where I could kind of make adjustments, based on the situation and things of that nature. So, even though, we didn't come up with a victory at the end, it's still a really good experience. We played in the preseason IT, played in a couple of, big time games, that year. So my grandparents, got a chance to see me on national TV, and actually got a chance to see my name come up. And that was something that they were really excited about and really proud of. So, I really cherish moments like that, just having that opportunity,
For sure.
Man, that is so cool. I thank you for walking us through that whole thing. I loved hearing that from your perspective, man. That was so cool. All right. Well, hey, you mentioned.
Hold up. Well, before you transition, I gotta say this. It's because he hit the 3 against Belmont and they ended up losing. Similar experience. I just didn't make it. Was when we were at Belmont. I guess my 5th year, and I had a corner 3 and I rimmed it in and out. And all I could think about for the last, I don't know how long has it been? Probably 4 years, is, man, what if I hit that shot?
Exactly.
Sorry, Asa, go ahead.
Shots we didn't make, they stick with us forever.
I know, and you're the one that hits the big shot against,
No, that was a lifetime ago. All right, Coach. So you mentioned you knew the first, the moment that you wanted to coach was in that game, which was crazy. So just kind of talk to us about your coaching journey from the time that you finished playing, you know, from that moment you knew you wanted to coach to kind of to how you got started into it and what you've been doing recently.
Okay, so my sophomore year at Lipscomb, myself and one of my good buddies, Bucky McMillan, who's actually the head coach at Sanford now, we played AAU ball together. And he was at Birmingham Southern, I was at Lipscomb, and we would go back, you know, in the summertime and coach the AAU team that we played for. So he would have he had the 17 under team, I had the 16 under team. And, you know, that's when we pretty much came up with our philosophy. I was a defensive guy, you know, as far as, you know, planning the defense and trying to, you know, get guys in the right spots and, you know, coming up with defensive schemes and things of that nature. And he was just an offensive mind, like he's an offensive guru. So, you know, we just kind of mixed and mingled and put a lot of stuff together. And that's when we kind of formed our coaching philosophy. You know, we formed our, you know, what we valued as coaches, what we wanted to do, how we wanted to go about doing it. He obviously took another path. You know, he was really successful at Mountain Brook, won 5 state championships. Now he's the head coach at Sanford. And, you know, I wanted to take a path, you know, and just stick with high school basketball. So, you know, I spent 2 years and once I graduated, I spent 2 years up in Tennessee, and I was coaching at Harpeth High School. And it was crazy. Like
Did you coach Shane Dansby, or was he?
No, Shane Dansby transferred to Belmont my senior year, so he had to sit out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had so I was in the gym. My college coach, my assistant coach, Coach Sean, he linked me up with a couple of kids just to train, and one of the kids was at Harpeth. So I was training the kid at Harpeth. He brings in another kid, a kid by the name of Kevin Giltner. He ends up, you know, going to Wofford and playing, and now he's assistant coach at Virginia Tech. But I was just working those guys out, and the head coach at Hartford, Jamie Wilson, that was Garrison's high school coach. So Jamie Wilson comes in the gym, kind of sees what I'm doing with the guys, and he just says, "Hey, man, I got a position. Do you want it?" I was like, "Well, yeah." So, I mean, I spent 2 years as his varsity assistant, and I learned so much from him just because he was very organized in what he did. He was really good at fundraising as well. He raised a lot of money for the program. So, I mean, I learned a lot from that aspect. And then I also learned X and O's from him as well. So I knew, you know, that it would be a lot easier for me to, you know, become a head coach down here in Alabama because I could a lot of the coaches and a lot of administration, you know, still knew who I was from my playing days at John Carroll. And, you know, nothing against Alabama, but, you know, a lot of coaches and high school coaches in Tennessee, you know, they played college basketball and they played college basketball at a high level. Mm-hmm. So, you know, those guys, you know, had a really good knack for the game. And I knew I would have to, you know, kind of pay my dues in order to, you know, eventually become a head coach. So, I came down to Alabama and, I had a few offers, right then, so I was fortunate enough to come to get the McAdory. I've been there ever since. I got down there in 2008 and I have been at McAdory ever since. Don't see myself leaving anytime soon unless I do something stupid, which I don't plan on doing. So,
That's crazy. Fun fact about McAdory. That's where Bo Jackson went to high school.
That is definitely where Bo Jackson went, man. He actually came on campus in 2014. Our football team made it to the state championship game, and I got a chance to meet him, walk him around campus or whatnot. So, I mean, that was a really good experience all in itself. Now we're trying to get him back on campus, man, trying to get some of them bowl dollars. Yeah. But we He's a odd cat, man. Like he doesn't really respond on social media. He's got a publicist, so you got to go through her, and then she contacts him, and this whole three-way deal, it just gets exhausting. So I think we're pretty close to actually getting him back on campus. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. All right, so going back a little bit, you talked a little bit about how you coach with Bucky, and you were on defense. So I guess what I'm about to ask is, the way you played, does that resemble how you coach currently?
To be honest with you, man, like it was one play. It was one play that actually got me recruited, as far as on the Division I level. Because going into my junior year, going into my senior year in high school, I had one offer on the table that was Shorter College, and they were an NAIA school at the time. And that was my only offer, and I was hell-bent on going there. And then Faulkner kind of came along. That was another NAIA school. So I was really just going to choose between those two. And, our coach, which was Bucky's dad, he said, man, all you need to do is have one good weekend at the right time in front of the right people. And I was lucky enough to have it at the showcase in Orlando. And that's when the floodgates kind of opened up, but they were a lot of teams were recruiting me as somebody that was going to pick somebody up full court, and kind of harass them defensively, and then somebody that could knock down an open jump shot. So, that was kind of my bread and butter. Now, when I get to college, I was 6 feet, 165, 170 pounds. So hell, who the hell I'm gonna pick up full court? So there ain't nobody. There was nobody I was gonna be able to pick up full court. But with my high school and even with my AAU team, we were big on pressing and trapping, pressure defense. We did a lot of zone pressing in high school. Then we did a lot of man pressing in AAU. So, with that being said, I wanted to implement that, into, my whole coaching philosophy. And I fell in love with the 96 Kentucky Wildcats. And I watched pretty much every game that was on YouTube
Was that
during that
Tayshaun
time. And I
Prince's
still
team?
do. Say what?
Was that Tayshaun Prince's team?
Oh, no.
Was that
96,
team?
not
I'm trying to say Tayshaun Prince was 2000. I'm tripping.
No. 96. That was
Mercer's team.
That was Antoine Walker, Walter McCartney. Mercer was a freshman at that time. He was like a freshman, sophomore.
Yeah.
He was coming off the bench with that group. That shows how good that team was. Tony Delk was on that team. Walter McCartney. It was a really loaded group, man. But
96 would have been Mercer's freshman year. Sorry, I was doing math.
So I was I fell in love watching those guys. I like watching the 92 Arkansas Razorbacks with the 40 Minutes of Hell. And then obviously watching Mike Anderson at UAB. Because that was obviously that was actually one of the schools, one of the final schools that I was actually looking at going to, UAB, as well as Sanford and Lipscomb. So, I was able to watch his philosophy from a bird's eye view, and I was really intrigued by it, man. So, just kind of watching those teams, and kind of studying them, studying some of the things they do, their tendencies or whatnot. That's where I kind of built my, defensive philosophy, and that's kind of what we do now.
So are you still a fiery coach? You said you were a fiery player. Are you a fiery coach?
Yeah. Refs don't really like me too much around here, but I'm not gonna lie. I hold it's all about accountability. I try to hold refs accountable. And with the type of kids that we have, those kids need to see that you're working for them. They they don't need to feel as if they're working for you. They need to feel as if you're working for them. So I'm gonna go to bat for my guys. When it comes to teachers, when it comes to refs, when it comes to fans, when it comes to parents, I'm always gonna go to bat for my guys. You know what I'm saying? So, but with age, this is my 14th year at McAdory. So I've kind of calmed down a little bit, and the kids are different. Kids aren't as mentally tough as I was as a player, as some of the kids that I coached 10 years ago. So if you want to be an effective coach now, you have to kind of evolve with the players.
So why do you think that is, though? Why do you think that it's the mental toughness has gone so far away? I guess I don't even think I need to add anything to that.
To be honest with you, it's been a gradual change, and it comes from the family structure. So you have a lot of kids that I coach, on an everyday basis. Their grandparents or their great aunt is damn near my age. So the grandparents are a lot younger, which means kids, aren't having that, takes a village to raise a child mentality. Families and communities aren't having that. So, it was a situation where, my coach could coach me hard, and I wasn't going to go back and complain to my grandparents, because they're going to look at me like, hey, well, what do you need to do to make yourself better? What do you need to do to improve or get more playing time or get more reps in practice and things of that nature? Whereas now, a lot of the kids that I'm coaching right now, their parents are no more than 8, 9 years older than me, and I'm 37, so the kid goes and complains to mom and dad, and they come to me and they're looking at me as if I'm a peer, or I'm somebody, like them, and it's not an authority figure, so it's kind of, it's kind of a gradual process where, kids aren't held accountable at home. Kids aren't held accountable, when it comes to AAU programs. You get mad with a coach and you don't play, you jump ship and you go to another AAU team. And or things aren't going good at your high school. I'm gonna go to another high school. Yeah. But that 10, 15, 20 years ago, that never happened, because you wanted to stick it out, you wanted to ride that wave, you wanted to make a name for yourself. Yep. Everything's just so ready-made now. And then, top that off with social media. Social media has completely changed the game. It has its positive aspects of it, but it has its negative aspects as well. So you combine all that stuff together, and you get kids that, I'll give you an example. My senior year in high school, we didn't have Rivals, we didn't have, ESPN Top 100, we didn't have any of that stuff. We had one online website. It's called Hoop Scoop Online, and you had to have a subscription. And that person that ran it, they did, regional rankings, and they did national rankings. And it was maybe like the top 50 or top 75, something like that. Yeah. And the classes were just the juniors and seniors. And as far as exposure camps, you had the Nike All-American camp, and you had Adidas ABCD camp. And that's roughly, I would say, maybe 500 players between the two camps. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when we would play against, guys like JJ Redick, and we played against JJ Redick, we played against Raymond Felton, played against Chris Paul, played against Denham Brown. There were several guys that we played against that I didn't even know who the hell they were. Unless you own Slam magazine, or unless you own, something, some big time magazine, nobody really knew who you were. You could be the best player in the state of Georgia or the best player in the state of Kentucky, And we were just playing you just like regular guys. But like now, you know, we had I have a shooting academy, and you know, I was lucky enough to have some guys. You know, Chris Livingston came in, came to McAdory and did like they did a little workout or whatnot. So did Mikey Williams, and our guys. You know, I didn't know who the hell these guys were, but I mean, you know, these guys are like social media phenoms.
Now everybody knows them. So when you see them, it's like they've been put up on this pedestal, and it's a different mind. It's like, well, I shouldn't even be in the gym with them because I'm not getting talked about on social media like these dudes are. And it's just it's so twisted because you have this preconceived notion that these dudes are what is going on. Oh, sorry. These dudes, you know, are not like human. They're different than you, but at the same, they lace their shoes up just like you do. They put their socks on, they put their shoes on just like you do.
Asa, exactly. That was great, but at the same time, I got really distracted by one of the names, and I'm sorry, but we'll just keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. But with one of the names mentioned, we'll talk about it after. But anyway, no, that's so true. I definitely think social media has played such a big impact, and there are some good things about social media. I think Asa and I probably trash social media more than anybody, just because of what it is and like what it like I don't know. It's just you live a false life. You can live a false life on social media. And then obviously you're having, I mean, people are posting out offers like, dude, we didn't offer you. Why are you posting an offer from us? There's just some stuff. It's just so false. And it's just the narrative can get changed so often. So yeah, I mean, there's still some good stuff about it too, you know, but anyway, Asa, go ahead.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, we're probably going to wrap up here in a second. We'd like to have a little fun towards the end of the show. Do you mind doing some rapid fire questions with us?
No doubt. Let's do it.
All right. Now, I'm glad you mentioned how you treated refs earlier, a little bit ago, because
nice segue.
This is perfect. So, all right. When was your last technical, and what was it for?
So, my last technical was a few years ago. It was actually my only technical. Oh. It was we were playing in an area tournament. Well, not area tournament. We were playing in an area game against one of our rivals, and it was the ref was one of my former players that I coached when I was in AAU. Now, I mean, he wasn't the best player. He was terrible, you know, and you know, but you know, he was a good kid, you know, didn't get in really very much trouble. So, you know, I mean, he, you know, so now, you know, he's grown and he's got this, he doesn't have a vendetta against me, but he's like, hey, you know, you can't really coach me now. You can't talk to me now, you know, so, I mean, I'm trying to talk to him. Hey, can you watch the hand check? Can you watch this? Hey, such and such, I think he's traveling. I'm saying in a respectful manner. And he's just kind of blowing me off. So, you know, I get pissed, you know, and you know, he makes some bogus call. And I said, at first, I called him over. And I knew that something was going to happen. I knew someone was going to jump off. So, you know, I called him over, and my assistant's kind of tugging at me like, hey, man, you know, because they knew I got that look in my eye. And I said, hey, man, you know, was that the same contact on the other side? You know, and he kind of blew me off. And I said, hey, man, I know you upset, and I know you mad. And, you know, I've been kind of tugging here and there all game on which one were you worse at, playing ball or repping? And I'm starting to think it's repping. And he teed my ass up just like that, man, right then. So, you know, so the crazy part about it,
that's incredible.
So, you know, it was bad. So, you know, you lose your coaching privileges. You know, you lose your coaching privileges or whatnot when you get a team. So this is another. I mean, actually, I take that back. I've had two techs. So that was one tech, and then the other tech, you know, guy teased me up, and you know, to be a smart ass. I mean, because that's just kind of what I am. You know, he says, you know, you got to sit down. You know, you get up again. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna sting you. So, you know, so me being the person I am, you know, I put the chair and I'm holding the chair and I'm just walking. I got the chair like on my butt and I'm just kind of walking. with the chair, walking up and down the sideline. And then when he turns and looks at me, I just sit the chair down, and I'm just sitting like ain't nothing going on. Everybody's going crazy. Well, the fans, they're getting a kick out of him. He's just getting pissed off because he knows that he doesn't want to stick me. But, I mean, I just had to do that, just had to get him back. It's all about having fun, you know.
That is good. Oh my gosh,
that is great. All right, which one you're worse at, playing ball or?
That's a great line. That's oh my goodness. All right, okay. So have you ever been kicked out of a game?
Nah, I've never been kicked out. Never been kicked out. I'll never get to that point.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever dunked a basketball on a 10-foot rim?
Ever dunked it? Yeah. Now in college, I get up a little bit, but now, I'm gonna lay that thing up, man. I'm gonna lay that thing up. But yeah. And in high school and college, I can get up a little bit, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. You are up 3 at the end of the game. They have the last shot. Do you foul or let it play out?
It depends on the situation. I think anything under 8 seconds, you know, it's kind of a toss up on what you do, you know. And the reason I say 8 seconds is because, you know, that's pretty much the cutoff time for somebody to take it the length of the floor and actually get a good shot, get a good 3 off a driving kick or invert or something like that. So, you know, but with high school kids, man, the IQ level is not there. So it is an immediate, as soon as they touch it, you know, if you're going to foul, it's not a, you know, when this person gets the ball, or it's not that, because it's so many bullets flying with kids, and kids don't watch enough basketball. They don't play enough basketball in order for them to kind of understand those concepts. So, man, I kind of stay away from, I'm either going to let it play out or I'm going to foul immediately. But typically what I do, and I learned this from Belmont, actually stung us with this 1 year. We were down. We were down probably about 3 or 4. We were trying to get a quick bucket. And, you know, they came out, it was out of a timeout. We had drawn up a play, and they denied us, you know, switched everything. So it looked like a man. As soon as the ball was inbounded, those guys sprinted back half court and put us in the 2-3 zone. They set up in the 2-3 zone. So they showed man, but then they played zone. So that's typically what we do now. We either going to show zone and play man, or we're going to show man and play zone. You know, I'm kind of giving all my tricks or whatnot to all these Alabama teams. So if we have a late game and we end up losing, I'm coming back for both of y'all's asses, man.
Hey, you might just have to go zone.
That's fair. Yeah, exactly. You just switch it up a little bit.
Just keep switching it. That don't
all right, okay. Are you leaving your best player in with 2 fouls in the first half?
Last year I did, because we had 5 freshmen on the varsity, so I had to leave him in, and I had to trust him. We would kind of dial back our pressure, and we would put him on a guy where he could either be the help guy, you know, to kind of rotate to kind of keep him, you know, out of harm's way as far as isolation and driving, because we would typically get our fouls off of hand checks because we pressure so much. So, you know, we would have him, you know, either play guard a 4 or 5, you know, and kind of sag off of a guy, you know. So, I mean, I would keep him in, you know, this year. I mean, last year, but this year, we, you know, our guys are a little bit older. They're a little bit smarter. So, you know, we're actually a little bit deeper as a team. So I think that, you know, I can get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah. You know? All right. Okay. Go for the tie. Go for the win.
I'm going for the win, boss. Like, hey,
win
or go home. I got to go for the win. Got to. We can't do extra quarters. Can't do extra innings, man. That you know, I don't get paid for overtime, so we gotta shut this thing down in regulation, bro.
Hey, does this have any? I mean, do you have bad memories about that? Is that why you do that? This is all Lipscomb people talking. This is all Lipscomb people.
Overtime games do not work in my favor, man. Like from a player standpoint, I mean, I can count the number of overtime games that I won just because, I mean, just from a mental standpoint, like it's 4 extra minutes, and I'm having to do this all over again, and I'm just one of those guys. I've always, when I became a coach, I promised myself that I would never coach a kid or do things to a kid that I wouldn't want to do as a player, and that's why we never go outside and run when we condition, because I hated doing it. I thought it was pointless. I thought it did nothing for us because we never play outside. And I know they say, it builds character and it's mental toughness. Hell, you can do that, in the weight room. You can do that in the gym, and it kind of coincides with what you're doing. I don't run stadiums, because I hated doing that. I thought it was pointless, thought it was bad on your knees, and the same thing with overtime. Like, I hated doing overtime as a player. So we try to coach like, hey, we're going to try to win this game, outright, so we can just go to the crib. If we lose, it is what it is, but you're going for that win instead of that tie, bro.
Yeah. So 3 things that coach does not like is stadium stairs, outside running, and overtime. Write it down.
Exactly.
Casual or professional on the sidelines?
Oh, I got this right here, man. I can't. I tried to do the suit and tie thing, man. That was 15 years ago. Like, I mean, back then, man, what was in style was the loose, not baggy, but the looser fitting suits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, all this crap is tailored. You got these tight ass pants on. I sure ain't gonna do it now. So I gotta be comfortable when I coach. You know what I'm saying? I'll wear a dry fit, long sleeve dry fit. I'll throw a collar shirt on if it's an area game, but for the most part, I'm gonna have some Jordans on, collar shirt, something, and I'll kind of rock it out like that.
Yeah. Okay. If you were not coaching basketball, what would you be doing?
Wow. It had to be sales, man. I'd probably do sales, but if I didn't want to coach, I would be a elementary school PE teacher for 30 years. That's the least stressful job in education you can possibly think of. So I'd either do elementary school PE, 30 years not coach, or I'd do something in sales.
Yeah, I got you. All right, okay. You playing any golf?
Man, I tried it one time. I tried it literally one time, and I was actually at Lipscomb. We had a golf class, and I didn't know because I throw with my right hand, shoot with my left hand. I eat with wherever that damn fork is on the table. I don't know. If I'm a left hand swinger, right hand swinger. Same thing with baseball. So I go to Topgolf and I just get this generic club and I'm just jacking it. It ain't got no aim. That shit just going everywhere. It's going to the left. It's going to the right. I strike out. So I mean, I go there just to socialize, and I know that with the profession that I'm in, that's one of the things that a lot of people say is very relaxing. I just can't get into it, man. So and it kind of hurts my self-esteem because people look at you like, okay, so you were actually an athlete at some point.
Yeah.
Because that in tennis, man, I'm the least coordinated person when it comes to, hitting
individual sports?
golf balls and hitting. Yeah, I can't do that.
A ball and a bat or something like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, my hand-eye coordination is god awful.
All right. So should every team make the conference tournament?
Every team, nah. Because it's especially if we're in there with Belmont, they don't need to be in there at all. You know what I'm saying? So no. To answer your question, no, every team should not make the conference tournament. But I mean, I understand both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want teams to have an opportunity to, advance, and who knows, a lower seed may go on the run. But the thing about it, I feel as if you allow everybody to make it to the conference tournament or make it to postseason play, then it kind of negates the fact of working so hard to win conference games during the regular season. It takes that thrill away, and it becomes meaningless because, hell, if everybody makes the tournament and it just takes one game, I'm just going to prepare for that one game. You know what I'm saying? So, so with that being said, I feel as if, teams that work and compete, the entire year should be rewarded in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Certainly. All right, Coach. Last one. My favorite one. LeBron or Jordan?
I'm an MJ guy. But LeBron has definitely he worked on me. He has worked on me for sure, man.
Is there anything he can do that would make him surpass Jordan in your mind?
I grew up watching Jordan, so nah. I mean, I'm gonna be realistic with you about it. I mean, I always tell people that LeBron would rather be a 6'3", 6'4" point guard, but from jump streets, since he was 13, 14 years old, he was bigger than everybody, faster than everybody, more athletic, had really good ball skills. And I always juggle with the fact of was he a good player because he actually had the IQ and he was actually a really talented basketball player, or was he just a really awful mismatch for everybody that he went against? That was something that I juggled with, and each year, even at year 19, man, like each year he kind of changed my outlook on how I view him. You know what I'm saying? And now I really think that he's a really talented basketball player with a very high IQ.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's an athlete because, Father Time has kind of slowed down on him a little bit, so he's not as explosive. But now, he's adding, the mid post up. He's not just playing bully ball. He's kind of working. He's improved his jump shot a little bit. He's improved his half court passing because he was more so a full court passer. But now, he's a half court passer now. He kind of runs the offense. So now, I got mad respect for him, man. Hope he gets him one more before he retires, but still not going to be better than Jordan.
I respect
Jordan changed the game, man. He changed the game for sure.
He did. I respect it. Well, Coach, hey, that's all we got for you today. We appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you on social media?
Social media, obviously Facebook is my name, James Poindexter. And then I have 2 accounts on Instagram. I got my one for my shooting academy is Coach P PSA 34, and then in my personal Instagram is Coach P 34, and then Twitter. On my Twitter, man, I can't even lie to you. It's Coach P, but I think it's instead of just Coach P has got 2 E's after it, 34, and then I have another one. It's at McAdory Hoops.
Yep.
So so you can follow all those, man, and get updates on on what we got going on down here in McCullough, man.
Cool, man. Well, hey, all right. You can find myself on Instagram at the Ace of Spades with a Z on the end. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Ace of Spades. You can find Nathan on Twitter at Coach Nate Moran. You can find Mind of a Coach on Twitter at Mind of a Coach Pod, and you can find us on Instagram at Mind of a Coach. Coach Poindexter, hey, man, it was a blast talking to you. Appreciate you coming on. Best of luck to you in McAdory boys basketball this year.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it. I'll be getting in touch with both of you guys. We got some players you guys may need to look at, man. So we'll definitely keep in touch, man.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, and you have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, man. Bye.
Appreciate it, Coach.
daughters of the Dharma, good people get down. Free candy for the masses, sweet with stereo sound. Like the Vedas and the Gitas in the breakbeat tune. Automator on the fader, corner shop with the boom. Slapping hands with my brothers as we rise to the sun. Les enfants feel the rhythm of the rhymers you stone. Same on appel, baby doll.